I'd really like to ask JD Vance and the gang a question. Who can afford to be a traditional housewife and pop out a slew of kids right now? Actually, who can afford to have any amount of babies right now? I get that JD Vance and the gang are rich and live in a separate world than the rest of us common folk here in America. But MAGA doesn't. MAGA lives in the same world, and a lot of them are actually poor and disabled. So, we can't afford to go back to the traditional family where the woman stays at home and doesn't work and pops out a bunch of babies and the man just goes to work all day and comes home and everything is great. Yeah, that is not a reality in this country right now. That is not a reality for 90% of us in this country right now. The only people who could possibly afford to be a stay-at-home traditional housewife mom and have a bunch of kids is people like JD Vance and Trump and Elon Musk and all them like filthy rich people. They are the only people who can afford to have that sort of life and that sort of wife or whatever right now. They are so out of touch with what is actually happening, how hard life actually is for most of us in this country right now. They are so out of touch with it that it's but the part that gets me the most is MAGA. You are regular, everyday people like the rest of us. You are struggling like the rest of us. And yet, you think now is a good time to take away women's right to abortion? You think now, when people can't even afford to feed the kids they already have, now is a good time to force people to have more kids? And Republicans are the ones who don't want to give handouts. They're the ones who don't want to help people. So you're telling me that while the country is struggling financially as a whole, most of us are really fucking struggling to get by right now. And MAGA knows this. They've been complaining about this for the last several years, but they've been trying to blame it on the Biden administration, which anyway, yeah, so you guys know. You're struggling right here with us. So what in the hell makes you think that now is a good time to force poor people to have more kids when they can't afford to feed the kids they already have? Where is the logic in that? And to do it under a political party who doesn't like to help people. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. Life is so hard for families like mine right now. And I'm so angry at these hateful morons who are helping to make things worse and worse on families like mine. I'm a stay-at-home mom myself now, but not by choice. I'm a stay-at-home mom because I became chronically ill a year and a half ago, and my illness got to the point that it wouldn't allow me to work anymore. My husband has a decent job. He doesn't make a lot of money, but he works for the state. And what he makes, with how little our rent and bills are, because they have to be, should be enough for us to, at the very least, make it paycheck to paycheck. But we're not. We're not even making it paycheck to paycheck. And this is in a family that only has 2 kids that it's financially responsible for, not a whole slew of kids, just 2 that we're financially responsible for. We have 3, but 2 that we're financially responsible for right now. And with my husband having a decent enough job. And we're not making it paycheck to paycheck. Like, we are struggling so hard every month. And the scariest part of all of this is that the very kind of people that have been making life so expensive and so hard on all of this in this country for the last several years now have all the power and control in this country. They're going to kill us all, left and right alike, if we don't do something about it. Viva la revolution.